Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Phantom Fellows. Alright, we've got another ghost over here. Let's go ahead and see if we can find out where she's planning to go. So who are you? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Engelbert Picklebender, and my breather here is Oliver.
Yes, well, the pleasure is yours. My name is Gertrude Harrington Smith. You may address me as Gertrude.
Gertrude, could you tell me exactly what is going on here?
That's something I would enjoy knowing myself.
Perhaps we could start with why you are all remaining on this train.
We are quite clearly remaining on this ghastly train because we have each paid for passage to a destination that we have not reached yet.
For how long have you been waiting?
I'm not sure. Too long, that I assure you.
Alright. Why are you here? So where were you heading before the bother?
To Sonoma Valley, Mr. Picklebearer. I received word from my sister that those dreadful phylloxera pests have finally been cleared from the grape leaves. Besides, I always follow the favorable weather.
Okay. Who are your friends? Would you mind if I ask, who are you traveling with?
You forget yourself, Mr. Picklebringer. I'm traveling on my own, if you must know. I prefer the freedom to socialize with anyone, especially gentlemen in power.
So you do not know the other passengers?
If you're referring to Pendleton and Finley, not really, no. Though by now they have become rather unwelcome acquaintances.
Alright. Tell me about Pendleton. Care to share anything with me regarding Pendleton?
He is quite a nervous man. Something about him is very makeshift.
Makeshift how?
I don't know. Pendleton is always prepared for mobility, I suppose. Always streaked. I believe he is dealing with some serious torment at home.
Alright, what about Finley? Is there anything I should know about Finley?
Finley is a child who inherited a man's body and a blank check. Or at least the latter and some upper lip fuzz. Anyway, he is rambunctious, usually in a pucker about constantly eyeballing others' valuables.
Usually in a pucker, huh? Why would someone of his wealth be interested in the valuables of another?
For the thrill of the hunt, I presume. For instance, I doubt the little weasel wanted my brooch, but I'm quite sure he stole it.
Oh. I wanted that. Pendleton said something about leaving in the morning.
Yes, well, we have been preparing to depart in the morning for quite some time now.
And comparatively, how likely does tomorrow look?
Perhaps marginally better now that you two mudsills are here.
Nope. Forgot I didn't switch back to the arrow pointer. Okay, nope, that appears to be it. Do not touch me with that. Feels nice against my skin. Alright. Nothing else. Come along, Oliver. He looks fiery, like if you upset him, he would enter into an Irish boxing pose while provoking you to put him up, put him up! These chairs look like decorated military leaders. Velvet drapes. Oh. That reminds me of my last girlfriend. These are light fixtures, and when they work, they undark a room. Some books with terrible 19th century illustrations. It is a copper drinking vessel. It is a table, but what I really want to discuss here tonight is the camouflage zebra. Oh boy. What is that? Zebras are not camouflaged. The stripes of zebras are the zebra's jargon. And there's not a zebra, there is a herd of zebras. They are camouflaged to the herd. So now what happens if you put a rag on a stick, dip it in red paint, and then drive up to a zebra and paint a red stripe on it? It begins a career selling fruit-flavored gum? The lions eat it. The lion cannot target a single zebra and hunt it down unless the lion can identify it. See, they do not go after injured or young zebras out of malevolence. It is just that they stand out, and a lion cannot hunt a blur of zebras. And so the lesson here is that sometimes it is wise to blend in, because if you make yourself colorful and you stand out, the lions might eat you. Okay, that's good, but I like standing out, and if you've always taught me to be myself, first of all, I have never once encouraged you to be yourself. Second, the argument in favor of standing out is more obvious and appealing to people like you. Wow. This is to say, there may one day come a time and place where keeping your head down is wise, despite any urges to stand out. What do you know about later tonight that I don't know? Oh my god, nothing, Oliver. I am not being prophetic, only passing on some wisdom. Okay. But if I end up covered in paint and dying fabulously tonight, I blame you entirely. From down here, with the peasants, it looks like a nosy tree. A hand-reproduced copy of Van Gogh's The Starry Night. It is a hand-painted reproduction of Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. She died with quite the stain on her clothing. So she might have been murdered! Say, would either of you like to play some chess? Have some shines with me? Oh, I must decline, but thank you. What did you decline, and why? He asked me if I wanted to play chess with him. Maybe I want to. Would you like to play chess, Oliver? I don't know. Is there chocolate in them? No. Wait. In the chess pieces? What, it's a fancy game. There should be. I'd get white chocolate for my pieces. Think of the stakes of if losing means your queen gets 8. Well, I appreciate your efforts to bring chess to the children. Can we please continue? Man, imagine peanut butter in the chocolate and the chess pieces. Then I'd want to maybe play chess. Alright, who are they? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Engelbert Picklebender, and my breather here is Oliver. Hi, Mr. Picklebender. The name's Finley. Finley Ree. Ray? Finley Ray? Finley, could you tell me exactly what is going on here? Well, this here train came to a very sudden stop a while ago, and everyone is just waiting for a fix, so we can be on our way again. Everyone as in yourself and... Myself and those two blowhards, Gertrude and Pendleton. We were all in the same car when the train came to a sudden halt. And we seem to be on our own, if we want to get this thing at full chisel again. Do you have any ideas on how to get the train up and running again? Sure don't, but Pendleton has been working on a plan. I can't handle his anxious energy anymore, so you'll have to speak with him directly. Alright, and why are you here? So, Finley, where were you headed before the trouble? Well, I am headed to San Francisco. Really? That is a nice area. I spent some time in Sacramento. Well, I'm not looking for any golden dust particles. It's all dried up. Plus, I got plenty of gold notes already. So why San Francisco? Because I got honeyfuggled real bad out east. I guess I'm hoping to land myself around some other younger folk who are new to having money. Alright, who are your friends? Can you help me out with any information about the two you are with? That's easy. I ain't with nobody. But I know what you mean. They're Gertrude and Pendleton.
I'm not so much the observant type, but I'll put it to you like this. Gertrude has a dead husband and a lot of money, and Pendleton has a lot on his mind.
Okay. Pendleton? Anything interesting about Pendleton that I should know?
Nah, he's a little mysterious, but his life ain't my funeral.
Surely you can give me something to go on.
Look, I grew up on the streets and can tell you this. A traveling man with his amount of desperation? I bet he couldn't post the pony, so he took off.
Alright, and what about Gertrude? Gertrude, who is the woman behind the name?
There is no woman. It's just 6 honey badgers in a raincoat. She's a wrathy little hen who feeds off of others like a gallonipper in lipstick.
Gallonipper, huh? So is she a badger, a mosquito, or a hen?
Exactly. Plus, she spent the first half of the trip completely corned. Anyway, I got dibs on showing her the door when we get to her stop.
Okay. Do you happen to know your cabmates' destinations?
Well, we're all going to California. Gertrude is going to Napa Valley or some wine factory like that. But Pendleton, he's such a bungler, he kept saying "you're" before remembering he didn't want to tell. Well, he wouldn't have to tell Bings he was the last stop. So I got curious and looked at the map, and figuring it was somewhere in Northern California, sounded like "you're," then it could only be one place.
And that is?
I don't remember now.
Great.
But when I found it, I was like, Eureka!
That is it, right? Wait. Did you just do a joke?
I ain't so sure now.
Did he? Unclear. Oh. Okay, that completes the first round of questioning. Let us chat about it before we ask them anything new.
Right. Can we go in here now?
I think it was something sparkling there.
Something shiny! Score! Yoink!
Look, Engelbert, it's one of those fancy automatic sundials. Okay, come on now. We had watches. Not on the wrist, but we had pocket watches. That is what that is. Alright. A watch with instructions on where to store it, built into the name. Oh, okay. Alright, butt watch. Got it. Alright. It's a map of the U.S. made before they had seen it from space. And it's so accurate that it makes my entire generation seem softer. Amen. Now, there's not a lot in here to take, so I'm going to file this under yoinked. I took the damp map, and in what was essentially a compromise between the room and myself. What is that? It's fancy metal with expensive stones on it. Neat, this piece of jewelry has a tiny sword in the back. It is a brooch. For jousting? No, the jewelry. It is called a brooch. A fancy pin. Oh, so if you run out of wrists and necks, you can just stab more jewels into your shirt? Indeed. Also, I don't want this map. Hate folding stuff. Dang it! I didn't get a chance to look at it. A fancy pin, aka a brooch. I want it. Never got nothing. No, I want it. Alright. What if we do the notebook? What's the score? What's next? There's too much on the menu, so I don't know where to start. Let us break it down. The overall gist? The three spirits were passengers aboard the train, heading further west. And they do not seem concerned with what did happen, rather with what will happen. Oliver, I do not believe these ghosts know that they are dead. What? I have heard tales of such phenomena, but I did not actually think it could be possible. Look, I'm a big fan of denial, I really am. But that would be a lot to ignore. Well, I am picking it up from all three of them. Let us allow this to unravel some more, and then revisit it. Pendleton Furt? I'm not sure. Something about him is kind of suspicious. Sounds suspicious. I believe Pendleton is acting inauthentically. However, I do not have a base to go off of. You're not sure which is the authentic half? Indeed. Regardless, he seems to be championing the idea of getting this train to run again. I'm getting the idea that he has taken responsibility for his cabin mates. He is giving off the vibe that he thinks he's alive? That is just the thing. Yes, he is. However, he said one thing that, well, perhaps I'm overthinking it. That one thing? I thought you were going to bite, you tease. What is strange is that while Pendleton consistently gave me the impression that he thinks he is alive, at one point he did refer to the locomotive as antiquated. So if he believes he's alive, then it's like 100 years ago, and that train engine is all the rage. Oh, wait, that should have been... Yes, precisely. So I say, we attempt to uncover the root of Pendleton's anxiety, and then his motivations should come with it. Alright, Gertrude Harrington Smith. Gertrude is what I like to call the worst. She is a socialite who follows all of the finger-snapping protocols, judgmental, entitled, and elevated above all else. Oh, and of course, highly gossipy. Does she seem concerned with the train moving again? Somewhat, yes. Also, does she think she's still alive? Sorry. I believe she is rarely concerned with circumstance, so long as she has a perch to cackle down from. But yes to both, she possesses the same off-putting denial as the rest, while only expressing interest in reaching her final destination. Very spooky. This is all good stuff, probably. I'd be curious to hear her recollection of what was going on the last time the train was moving. Indeed, she does seem the most eager to spill the proverbial beans. Well, I don't need her to pretend to spill imaginary beans, but same page otherwise. I'm excited to watch you partake in some active listening. Right, Finley Ray? Finley is a slight exception. He was not born into his money, so he is trying to act like a finger snapper without having the heart of one. He's a little rough around the edges, however, he has perhaps more in common with us than with them. Does Finley think he's still alive? I would say yes. Earlier I believed him to be sincere in thinking that we were the turn-down service, returning from a break. I know time is more of a loose idea for you guys, but is there any way to gauge how long they think they might have been here waiting? Good point. I will try to uncover more in regards to time. While we do struggle existing outside the rhythm of time, I would notice a difference between a decade and a century. I think. Did anything about his background or destination help paint a picture? Oh. He was heading to San Francisco, close to where I used to live. You know, he was the only one who just vaguely made mention of when the train stopped working. Next, let us try to get them to account for the last time that the train was working and what happened next. Perhaps a bit silly, but... Do you think my outfit suits me? Honestly? It is a delightful ensemble, and I particularly like the way you've made a style out of securing your waistline. Thank you, Oliver. Aw, that was nice. Alright. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, okay. What happened to the train? Finley, how are you? Not up to dick. Can you tell me everything you remember from the last time this train was moving? Let's see. I was a few cars back, smothering a parrot with some of the boys in economy. Then I came back here, where a car attendant told me to sit tight because we were entering a real long tunnel. Gertrude was powdering hair, giving the attendant a hard time. Not even sure she knew why she was. But you know Gertrude is drunk because her outbursts have been even more butter on bacon. Anyway, so I glanced at Pendleton and mouthed, "Look," gesturing at Gertrude, but he mistook it for aggression and turned away. Then I remember feeling the spins and took a seat as we entered the tunnel. The last time this locomotive was warm, I was waking up to Pendleton leaned over me and telling Gertrude that everyone was okay. And what did they say happened in the tunnel? I asked, but they can't remember much in that gap, neither. Alright, how long has it been? Finley, how many days have you been stuck here for? I never been one to track the days. Never had a need to differentiate a Tuesday from a Thursday. Not with no money, not with a ton of money. Okay, how about on field? Just give me something to go off of. Right now it feels like about a month. Alright, funny business. Finley, something feels off about this particular situation. Would you agree? I don't disagree. The staff and conductor still ain't back, and Gertrude and Pendleton can take a toll on you. But I could also see it being just one of them kind of things. Respectable. But if one of your cabin mates was behind the misfortune, who would you... That hedge creeper, Gertrude. And there it is. That's what I want. What do you have on Gertrude for me? Well, everyone knows that she got real hung up on the conductor. But what no one knows is, a little ways back in the trip, I seen her sneak into the conductor's cabin and hide. With what intent? She had a bottle of champagne and a gait that suggested she was ready to pounce. So once we arrived at the next stop, I hopped out early and kept watch for her. Right on cue, out she stumbles, wiping tears away and looking all poked up. She was poked up how? One way or another, she got stabbed. It means embarrassed. She left the cabin sad, drunk, and embarrassed. Interesting. Some of this is interesting. I knew it. Why do you think she became fixated on this conductor? Easy. He was being celebrated and honored. Of everyone on the train, he was the biggest toad in the puddle. Right, and earlier you said a little way back. Do you recall which state you were stopped in? The one with a lot of corn in it. Ah, Ohio. Okay, no, that appears to be it. Alright, so we have two other passengers to have some discussions with, but that is going to wait until next time. See you then, everyone.